What's going on, guys? MDLP from the Battle the Strongman Gym in Miami, where strength is everything. Still bringing strength to the modern day Viking. Actually, it was just a comment, not even a question. Obviously, I talk a lot of shit. So, one of the things that I've had to, not me, I guess me personally, honestly, and a lot of people that I know, and I see a lot of comments and stuff, and I guess it's one thing to kind of acknowledge some of the athletes out there, and maybe even just like relate or kind of warn you or make you feel that you're not out of place. But one thing I hear constantly is the idea of this, athletes they get real cocky, and you get a lot of, oh, but he's cocky, or don't get cocky, stay humble, blah blah blah. Um, and so I could not help myself. I needed to say something because, obviously I've experienced this my whole athletic life. And I'll explain to you how I deal with this because I really can't speak for anyone else. Um, I think it's very important that you realize that if you are a true athlete and you can say that proudly, there is going to be an air of cockiness in your heart. And now, this term cockiness can be mixed up. Often, self-confidence is, wow, I just choked on my own fucking ridiculous bullshit here. Or my own awesomeness, yeah. Um, it's mixed up. It's in, he's real cocky. Well, most athletes, and I'll say this rather surely, don't operate on the same mental level that most people do, obviously. Even at the small scale, the athlete down the street, their mind is not right. They're the kind of person that is willing to sacrifice their livelihood, their health, their family, their friends, their business, their money for a sport that either A, no one cares about, or B, they will never be professional or win anything for. Something's not right in here. They're not the same person, and that doesn't make them better or worse. They're just completely fucking different. They don't exist in this frame of mind that most people exist. Not to get too crazy. So when they walk around, they're often big chested and they have this kind of look in their eye or this smirk on their face, like they know something you don't. That is the air of confidence that it's often mixed up with being cocky or being, confidence. Hey, personally, am I cocky sometimes? You better believe it. I fucking love that shit. I'll giggle my way to the bank being cocky in front of people. It puts on a good show. It makes me feel good. Is it to the point of arrogance? No. I don't think anyone who's ever known me cannot say, Mike's really arrogant. I think that often an athlete should have a time of this kind of cockiness overload or this confidence overload where they're talking to themselves and feeding themselves positive mental energy. I can do this. I'm stronger than you. I'm faster than you. You can't touch me. Come at me, bro. All this kind of thing to get themselves motivated or away from that doubt. Because if anything an athlete does is beat themselves up mentally and physically. And they're the first ones to say, I suck. That sucked. Wasn't good enough. I hated it. I don't like it. Not fast enough, not strong enough. They're the first ones to say before anyone else will. And they're also the first ones to beat their bodies up when they should be resting, etc. So when they get in that mode where I'm a bad man, I feel great, this is going to be it, I feel confident, I'm going to make a name for myself, and then you go out and win, the next week is kind of like the same feeling. You're riding that high. The next couple of weeks, you're like, I won. I prove, proof is in the pudding. I proved that I can do it. And you're kind of riding this kind of air of confidence and a little cockiness. You're kind of walking around with this kick-ass chip on your shoulder because you feel damn good. But reality strikes and you realize for the most part that that's just a small phase, and there's other motherfuckers out there 1,000 times better than you, and that's why you stay hungry. But for anyone out there who's dealing with these kind of little things where you're kind of in this, you're scared to be, too confident, you're kind of worried to be cocky, you're kind of you don't want to do these things. You want to stay humble. Look, if you try to be humble, you're defeating the purpose. You're humble because you're humble. You get humble because you've been humbled. The same thing with being genuine. Either you are or you're not. The more you try, it's fucking ridiculous. Redundancy. So, I would say, for the most part, for an athletic person to stay mentally charged, mentally safe, you have to have your areas and your moments of cockiness and confidence. almost the same thing. Sometimes more cocky than confident. Whatever. I've been saying cocky a lot. I don't. It's just that's too much. I think it's too much. COCK, right? Come on. But there's it's times and places. You know, every man and woman has their arena where they are the number one, the bee's knees. You know, in my case, I feel very confident in the ring, and I feel very confident in the gym. Uh, do I have my doubts? Do I beat myself up? Yes, anyone who's trained with me can attest to that. But I feel that there are times and places where you should talk yourself up. You should talk shit. Have a laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. But fuck, man, it's good to be a little cocky sometimes. And if people can't understand that, it's probably because they're not really in that athletic level. They're hating on you, or they just never really just don't care to know that kind of side. They're just not built that way, and that's fine. That's what they do. That's your shit. But for the most part, you're gonna see that there's a certain look in their eyes, a certain swagger, if you will, that it's just like, he looks kind of cocky. Well, hey man, we don't know yet. You know, there's also arrogant pricks out there. Fuck them. I hate them all when they're super, super cocky. But there's gonna be a little gray area where you can dance on to make yourself a better athlete. So I hope this makes some of you feel a little better about yourselves. And fuck, if nobody really understands you, then you can just tell them to fuck off. So cheers, and thanks for tuning in for the rant.